Welcome to Boulder. There's a reason I'm shirtless. It's because we're going to be putting on a heat suit today and doing the ultimate mad scientist type training of using this new research that's really taking over endurance sports about heat training and taking it to the extreme. So before I put on the heat suit and talk about all of this, I actually want to have a huge disclaimer at the outset. Don't do this at home unless you really understand what you're doing, have core body temperature monitoring, or are doing the more research-backed protocols. What we're going to be doing today goes beyond the research-backed protocols. We'll get a little bit into why later. This is David coming to you from the future. I'm on the Western States course right now, but I just wanted to have the biggest possible disclaimer for this video in general. The heat training you're about to see is taken to the very extremes of what humans can possibly do, and it might go far beyond what humans should do. This is a mad scientist experiment to really see how I can excel in heat when heat was always something I sucked at. So please be careful. Not only is heat dangerous, like you can die from this stuff. Do not do this at home. The research-backed protocols are much less. I've written about those in a lot of different places. Also, the core sensor that I'm wearing in the video, it is vibey, not fully sciencey. You would need to be sticking a thermometer up your butt all the time to get actually perfect data. So it's just a way to calibrate slightly your feel. I still think it's really important to have heart rate. Never go above zone 2 unless you really are doing this in a methodical way. So be safe. Please, please don't get hurt. But first, let's go into the ultimate piece of safety and armor for me. So normal armband heart rate, but then strapped to my armband heart rate is a Core 2 body temperature sensor. A little bit less accurate on the armband than the chest strap, but it gets the job done. I've done some testing to make sure that the numbers are right, and it's shockingly good. This is just helping my heat training out. So I shook it, which will get it activated, get the armband heart rate ready, and putting it on. This is like a knight in the Middle Ages putting on their, I don't know, chainmail, and then getting owned in the joust. That would be me, because you're about to see me get owned. Okay, so let's just put on clothes so I'm not talking to you too much shirtless here. Okay, we're going to start with heat suit from Amazon. This is totally non-breathable material. You could just run in this and get quite warm. Pants on. Shirt. Actually, I forgot to say, these green shorts are not the green shorts. It's a pair of green shorts. So they don't have the magic, which is good because today is not a magical day. Today is going to be a shit show. And you're going to see me really be hot and tired at the end. John G actually sent these shorts because one of their employees wore it as a Halloween costume last year where they dressed up as me. So, new pair of green shorts, but not magic. Just for heat. Okay, then the top. No shirt under because you sweat so amazingly in this that it would just get wet and cool you off. I mean, probably the best way to do it would be no shorts either, but that would make for an awkward intro video. Kind of like that Blink-182 video way back in the day where they ran down the street naked. Director Cody's too young to even know that reference. Okay, so got my first layer on. Second layer is a down jacket. I have 2 down jackets to choose from. This one looks less epic than this one. So we're on camera today, so we're going epic. Oh! Apparently the zipper's broken. Vetoing it. This one actually is the most effective. It's very light. It's what I wear all winter. Probably saw it in some of the earlier videos. This just makes sure that no heat escapes, and I am truly getting my core temp up and roasting a little bit, even at slow paces. Oh, you will. Then I wear a beanie. This one is from the Coffee Club podcast. An amazing podcast. We love these guys. They're in Boulder. They're so cool. But the feed. Not only do they sell Core 2 monitors, so buy those at the feed, they sell all the nutrition, and they own my head. So they're cool though. They wouldn't mind if I didn't, but we're going to be going visor over beanie because I'm already looking ridiculous, so why not go all the way? Naked belt. Now that's a vibe right there, right? And then we have lots of fuel here. I'm going to drink this before we go. This is a Precision 1000 tab because hydration's a big issue here. I'll have a 100 milligram caffeine gel before we go because I'm dead tired. Baby Ollie is waking up every night now. So, you know, the thing professional athletes don't talk about. Then a few gels and Tailwind high carb, plus a bottle, which we're going to fill up at the jankiest park bathroom you've ever seen. Oh. So my knee, as I talked about a little bit in the Quad Rock video, was painful for 13 miles of that race. And it got way worse after, as I think a lot of people could have guessed. And I almost thought that Western States was going to be out of the picture, or at least I'd have to show up and the big dreams would be out the picture and I'd be racing for top 10. And I got desperate and got my first ever cortisone injection and into the intra-articular space of the knee joint. And it responded amazingly. And now, you know, a week and a half after that, or 2 weeks after that, I'm feeling better than I ever have. So right now you're just seeing me do some PT where I'm also trying to really make sure the IT band stays loose. So this next, this one is, I think, the magic of going like this and then going like this. I feel like a nerve tinge that goes up my IT band. And I think that this is kind of the exercise that will keep me healthy with this particular injury, where it's kind of stretch, kind of strength. But yeah, was really flying close to the sun there for a second. And hey, swooped around it. All right, you ready for the most anticlimactic start you've ever seen in your lives? Let's do the thing. Oh, start. Okay. Now, I put the jacket over my hands so I'm not cooling excessively. And then I jog. I'll speed up a little bit as the quads become human. But the funny part is, by the end, this pace is going to be harder than anything you've ever seen. So what I do is, every little stop I do, I check my phone app for the core monitor to see what my core temp is. And then I modulate effort based on that. So I always start pretty relaxed when I'm doing it long, and then make sure that everything's within line. So it just brings in a little bit of safety monitoring too, since we might go long today. Might even go 16 or 18 or something like that. So important to be safe. So there were a series of studies done on cross-country skiers that did this really ingenious design that had them do their normal training, and it had controlled groups that did matched amounts of intensity and volume. So it's not just training intervention. But the intervention group did 5 by 50 minutes of training in a heat suit in the PM 5 days a week. Those intervention groups ended up having 3 to 5% increases in their hemoglobin mass. So the amount of red blood cells in their body. That's the holy grail of endurance performance. That's just on its own will increase someone's VO2 max by 2.5%. What else increases VO2 max by 2.5%? The answer is nothing. Well, nothing legal, at least. Especially at my age. Like, literally, that number is going down, not up. Woohoo! Sun went behind the clouds, makes it more tolerable. In a mile where I didn't check the core temp, I checked about 2 miles ago, and it's 100.5, the bottom of what core calls heat zone 3. So really safe. I assume it'll be up around 101 by the time we get to the bathrooms, and that's kind of where I want to sit. So my heart rate right now is way over 150. Normally it'd probably be in the 1-teens, low 120s at this pace. All right, another gel. This is citrus flavor, quite good as well. Yeah, get your Enovits with the feed. They're really good. Hey. Oh, come on in. Welcome to my lair. This is where the magic happens. I go to this bathroom like every day. No one's here. And I think probably caught norovirus 2 or 3 times from this place, but maybe that's the secret. All right, oh, let's check our data. Oh, probably shouldn't put the top on the... All right, so 101.6 core temp in the middle of heat zone 3. Heart rate's still high, isn't that crazy? Like just standing here. 148 is higher than my 50-miler race was. So heat's magical. First, so GI training, I've talked about it before and shown you it with bottles. Now we're gonna show you it with the norovirus fountain. I'm gonna gulp like 30 or 40 times? I don't know how much water that is, but. I almost decided it would be worth it for the joke to put my entire mouth over the fountain, but you want to try to avoid severe dehydration when you do this. I mean, it's hard to, you can't really avoid dehydration when you sweat like me. I mean, one of the pieces of info I don't know if I've shared on here is that I have an astronomical sweat rate, like above anything I've ever seen in coaching, especially compared to body size. So I think this is kind of magical because 1, it increases my ability to sweat early in events, but 2, I think it decreases my sweat rate when I'm not quite this hot. Because like the equivalent of wearing this heat suit is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for sure in ambient temp, so. You can almost smell the chlamydia. Don't use that. Okay, let's go have some fun. I've always recommended passive heat. So sauna, hot tub, anything like that. Basically, as long as your doctor supports it and your heart's okay and your blood pressure's okay, that is a very helpful adaptation. And I've been doing that for many, many years. And that got me most of the way. But even with all that heat training, I had a problem that stemmed back to when I was a little kid, which is I suck in heat. I've had my worst races in heat, my worst football games in very hot conditions. I used to cramp up mercilessly. So what do you do? So the passive heat helped a little, training helped, getting older helped, hydration and fueling helped, but it didn't quite get me to that edge. And so last year, you know, I had Leadville and then decided, you know what, let's run it back at the Javelina 100 mile, which is the way I would get into Western states. But the problem was when I emailed Jamil Corey, the race director of our Viper Racing, what Jamil said to me is that get prepared for the heat. I never really thought about that much because it is a race around Halloween, but I took that to heart. Jamil knows what he's talking about. And I started these interventions. Some of the post-exercise heat suit, which you saw, some of this type of heat suit. I didn't have a core sensor yet, so this was all really DIY type stuff, doing it in the dirtbag fashion. And sure enough, the long-range forecast, 7 or 8 days out from the Javelina 100 miler, said record heat. Record heat in the desert of Arizona, aka 100 degrees. So it was a science experiment. It was like, well, I've always sucked at this. Let's see what we can do. And I think in retrospect, you know, I went and ran 12 hours, 45 minutes and was never hot. And I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made that it's one of the best heat performances ever by a human in ultra endurance activities. Like, which is crazy, right? Because that's not me. So I think it just might be the beginnings of a wave, much like the high carb was the beginnings of a wave. And maybe my ultimate theory and hope for myself is that whatever advantage I had with high carb is gone. But maybe, just maybe, the heat suit is the new high carb. And not like I did it, right? Remember that. Huge blanket disclaimer. Don't do this. I don't have any of the athletes I coach doing 20 miles in the heat suit, right? Like I'm trying to solve the hardest heat problem of my life. And I get one moonshot. Like this is moonshot territory. This is not training theory territory yet. So what I always try to think about here is ultra form. So like, you know, my heart rate's probably 35 beats elevated over where it normally would be. So light on feet, good form, even though the metabolic demand's so high. Careful, baby. You're awesome. The weird part is if I nail it, I'll have been hotter today than I will be at Western States in 105 degrees. Crazy, right? That's how monumental cooling is and this type of adaptation. And then when you combine that with the red blood cell enhancement for fitness, it might just be the kind of like perfect storm. You're awesome. This is when it's fun because you could stop now and you already have a good heat session. But we got 10 miles to go. When I was 16 years old, I was training as a football player. And every single night after dinner at 7 p.m., I would jump toward the ceiling and do these array of jumping exercises because vertical leap is so associated with sprint speed. And sprint speed, I was pretty good at. Vertical leap, I wasn't very good at. So I took it upon myself to teach myself to become a jumper. I jumped so much that eventually I was able to jump to the point that my head went through the ceiling. And my parents on the Eastern Shore of Maryland never repaired it. They just left it up because they were like, they wanted that to be a testament to whatever I became later. So that's just me trying to jump through the ceiling. You guys are awesome. Great biking. Right. 12 miles in. Let's go back to our heaven on earth. So 101.9 right now. You shouldn't go above 102.2, they say, or 102.1. So that's why it's so helpful, right? Like I'm right in the safe zone, but getting good work in. So let's see what Who wants to see a guy do nasty things to a water fountain again? Let's do it. I should save this for the OnlyFans. So this is where the GI training really happens, to be serious. This water fountain, when I'm doing, this is GI training because I'll have, 40 ounces or so over a liter within a few minutes here. But this is where I've done most of it, is this water fountain that mysteriously doesn't drain. Doing well on carbs, but do a couple more gels before I finish. Because one thing about heat training is that some studies came out recently showing that the GI system has a lot more trouble digesting calories in hot conditions, high core temps. So if I can guarantee nothing else, I guarantee I will be better than anybody else that start on absorbing calories and heat, even if I fail in other places. Okay. Let's see what we're at. Look at that. Already at 10. So according to Core, I've saturated the stimulus now. But according to the thesis of this YouTube series, go a little past the edge and let's see what happens. All right. Thank you, bathroom. You helped me succeed. See you soon. Oh.
17 miles. Yeah, don't do this at home, please, 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 please. We're in the midst of an experiment of a few. We'll get more data points soon, but like, it's definitely doing something. Just hit 175 heart rate, which is higher than in the track workout you saw, even though these are like, you know, tempo pace, but this is so fun. You know, it's just like, I don't know how many years I have left of like peak performance, you know, coming up on 37, but just so fun to use your body and see what evolution has in store for us if we just give it some helpful nudges. All right, 2 more. It's easier than a 100-miler, I can promise you that. So moments like this, I told Megan, I just want to remind myself, like, you know, tie myself down a lot and say, oh, it was a fluke and all that, like, last year. And it's like, think back to this moment, like, ain't no fluke.
Today was the peak heat session. Today's the not going to do anything like this again, and wanted to prepare for not just the physiological aspect of heat that we've either talked about or going to talk about, but the specific demands of sustaining a high core temperature for a very long time under pretty significant load. So did that. Not only did that, felt good, felt sustainable. So, you know, the little elements are coming together too.
Most important part, nearly ending this video series. Oh, I love you, goat. And goats, you're the best, goats. That's training for getting to meet Killian in 3 weeks, the other goat.
So we're here now, and like, you know, I have so much gratitude to be here and to be sharing it and to be wearing it all on my sleeve. The injury was a great reminder for that, but like, also, I'm scared. You know, I'm not scared of the race. Like the race is the last thing I'm scared of, and I'm not scared of pain. You've seen this video series. If you think I'm scared of pain, you have another thing coming. And I'm not scared of the work or anything like that.
We're doing it.
I'm just scared in the sense that, like, how many shots do you get at life to do the big thing, the moon shot, right? Like, even if I come back to Western States next year, it's not going to be the first time. You get one of these.
Oh, we can stop right here.
And what a cool opportunity. So I'm like, I'm not scared of the start or what happens or like a bad day or anything. I'm not scared of that. But I'm scared of what happens if I get sick or injured or have something else jump in the way at this last moment. I mean, the reason I'm going above and beyond is like, this isn't hemoglobin mass, right? Like, I think Core's algorithm is perfect. Once you get to 10, you probably shouldn't go farther, but this is now, all right, now Western States, one of the hottest races, possibly. You know, my shot at winning is if 7 days before the race, you look at it and it's 105 degrees, you know? That's what it's been in the past, and that's what I want it to be this year. So it's gonna be hot no matter what, but I want it to be so astonishingly hot that everybody else looks at the forecast and panics, and I look at the forecast and get excited. All right, So this is just the squishiness coming out of this. Look at this, totally dry here. That's how good the heat suit is. It fucks up your shoes real quick. I'm gonna put them in front of the fan. I'm trying to do something that some people think I have no business trying to do. So, you know, there's that little kid inside all of us who, when you're told that, part of you's like, well, fuck yeah, you know, I understand what they're saying, right? Like, I get that point. But then the part of me that's going to be racing is the part of me that's like, well, let's put our head through the fucking ceiling. See what happens. Okay, I'm actually very quickly going to I just like to release that IT band, you know?